everybody, what's crack-a-lackin'? Hope everybody's having a good weekend. Yeah. Somebody give me a 5 for 5, and we'll get moving on this one. Should be a good one, I hope. Had quite a few things going on. Got a few things coming at us. Got a couple other eruptions, some new Aurora, guys. Some new, another first for another Aurora. Well, another first for Aurora, at least as far as we can tell. But yeah. Okay, thank you, Ilea. Good to see everybody. Quintress, what's up? Karen, Randy, George, and George again. Rick Smith, Amy, Piper Lynn, Joanne, Norm. Who else? Who was first? Gunslinger. Man, I tell you what, man, you're like the gunslinger from the Old West. Are you like Doc Hollywood or something, man? Out there with the big quick draw McGraw with the first comment and stuff. Hey, Ricky, good to see you. Randy, yeah, everybody, please share this out. I would really appreciate it. It is probably the best way that we get the word out, guys. And I'm going to talk about that just for a second too. I have a X account, well, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. I think what I'm going to do, because we've been trying to figure out a way to get notifications out when it doesn't seem like they always go out here, right? And I'm not saying that that's always an issue, but it seems to be. And whoever's fault that is, I don't know. But what I'm thinking about doing is I'm going to start. I got my X account there. I just haven't used it, right? If I could get people that want the notifications, and I can use X for other things also, but it'll give a secondary platform that will send you guys notifications if I post the live there, if you have your notifications turned on for X. Okay? So I think I'm going to do that just to see. Well, thank you, Quintress. Appreciate that. That way, people that, might not necessarily get the notifications here on YouTube, at least there's a secondary way that we might be able to get them out to people so they can, it's good to see you, Twinkie. So they can be here, they know the live stream's going on and all of that. So, that's what I plan on trying to do. Okay. If it works, we'll keep it going. If it seems like it's not really helping a whole lot, well, we'll probably still keep it going. Because if it helps at all, I'm going to keep doing it. Because I get a lot of reports, guys, of people that just simply do not get notifications. Now, I would say this to those, if you think you're not getting all your notifications, there is 2 different options when you click that bell. You can click some notifications, and YouTube chooses which one to send you, or you can click all. So that means everybody that you're subscribed to, if they go live, you get a notification. So that's how that works. Now, sometimes that's the issue. Other times, it's just simply we have no idea, right? So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. And also, guys, I will be, I've already did the card giveaway on the members only stream. I need to go look and see who won those over on that comment section in the members only live stream, by the way. And it looks like it might work. We might have to tweak that a little bit, but tomorrow during my live stream tomorrow, I will be some way, shape, or form, giving some cards away here. Okay. Probably 2, 3, maybe even 4 decks. It just depends on how many people are here. And, so we'll do that. Now, I want to start, guys, with this. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to jump into what we've got going on currently. We've had a few flares, and let me show you the flares. These are very impulsive, though, okay? Within the past 6 hours, 9 hours maybe, these are 3-hour increments here. Very impulsive, M-class flares. They did not last long. They didn't do a whole lot. We got radio blackout, storm level 1, R1, and that's what we get with the low level M class flare. But with that being said, we had a decent one over here that was long duration. And this actually came from that incoming sunspot that we've been talking about. And it was a longer duration. And I think I actually talked about this one already also. But notice we got into a geomagnetic storm. And again, I think that's the one I reported to you guys. It wasn't expected. They go back and they add it there so the data's correct. And so when we're looking at this stuff, the longer duration flares produce more CMEs as a rule, I guess. They don't have to, but they typically do. These impulsive ones typically will not, do much in the way of ejecting plasma out. They won't instigate a CME. Unless it's like a high class X flare. And even sometimes the high class X flares that are impulsive, we've seen that in the past few weeks. There were no CMEs involved with it. So that's just another reason to be able to understand why there is a difference and that there is a difference between a flare and a CME. So that's just another reason to know that. Now, these did, again, like I said, they did cause some radio blackouts, but it wasn't a big deal. The bigger deal on the sun right now, number one, is, I'm going to zoom in, coronal hole. Now, in my title, I used the words hole in the sun's atmosphere because there are people out there that don't know that the corona is the sun's atmosphere. Okay? If I was just to call it a coronal hole, they might not understand what I'm talking about. So that's why I used that verbiage in the title and in the thumbnail. So this is the 211 angstrom. This is SDO, right? It's part of the light spectrum we cannot see with our eyes. They put a filter on it. It's from our point of view. This satellite hangs out in geosynchronistic orbit, which means it stays over the same part of our planet at all times, but rotates its eye, just like the eye on the Lord of the Rings, and it always keeps its eye on the sun. Okay? That's its purpose. It's giving us these images. Why do we look at specific angstroms? This is the 211. We see specific gases that we can't see with our eyes. So that's why they do that. They could assign this any color they want. The 211 in the light spectrum isn't necessarily purple. I don't know if it is or not. They can just simply give it a color. They can make it baby poop green, which is actually kind of, well, if you want to see that color, I think I got an example for you right here. Anyway, trying to have a little fun, I guess. But that's a significant coronal hole, guys. That hole is pretty significant. It's not small. It's not the biggest I've ever seen. It is on in the northern hemisphere of the sun, and typically we get a more, I guess, a stronger hit from a coronal hole that is actually in the southern hemisphere, just because of the way that our planet's tilted and a lot of other things that are going on there. Okay, but these northern ones we connect to also. They give us big hits too. This one here looks like it could. Now, we consider the Earth strike zone this rectangle box, right? Imaginary rectangle box right here in the middle of the sun. Anything crossing over that area has a really good chance of affecting Earth. Now, with this right here, I'm just going to call it is affecting, that's in the Earth strike zone right there. At least here. Because we will connect to that, no doubt. It's too big. It's too big not to. And when I say connect to it, we're connecting it magnetism. Okay? Everything in the solar system is connected to the sun. Again, like I said a lot, here in the past few weeks, if you were naked out in space, floating around, your left butt cheek would be connected to the sun. That's why we talk about the satellites, right? When our I'll just show it to you real quick. It's easier for me to do that. When our bow shock gets compressed enough from a hit from the sun, this thing here, it'll go inside the satellite line. Why is that important? Well, now all these satellites are not being protected at all from our magnetic field. The bow shock is the first point of contact from space weather and our magnetic field. That's what this is trying to represent. Shout out to my Aussies. This is their model. I love it, by the way. I say it every time. It's so simple. It's brilliant. So it really is. Now, again, we get really good visuals off of the one over here on NOAA also. I need to quit saying I'm trying not to do that. Trying to be a little bit more of a... Man, that thing is taking forever. All right, there we go. I do think we're taking a bit of a hit right now, guys. And again, it's one of those things that either they missed the forecast or they missed it completely. I haven't seen anything really other than this, because today's the 19th, right? You guys see anything at all there? There's nothing there. There's not even like a 4 on the KP. You know, here's a 4. It's still below storm level, but it's not even reading that. And right now, if we go over here to the nowcast, we are still kind of hanging out low. But what I seen when I was setting up for this was this. And this is why it's important to be able to know where the data's at. You see this? Our BZ went negative. Something happened from here to here. Okay? Everything moved. Everything changed in space weather data. Right there. Crap. I hate it when I do that. It's so stupid. I accidentally hit the right click somewhere on this, and I do it a lot. I got neuropathy in my hands, and I click buttons when I don't mean to. But anyway, this is -6, right? That's what that's showing you on the BZ. So when we get to -6, what's that mean? Hey, we're in a position magnetically that we're going to allow space weather just to come flowing right on in. So, yeah. Mary, I would, I'm not saying that that's impossible, because we have taken hits from the back, but I can show you what you can see it on the other magnetic model also here. Okay? You got to understand how the model works. And I'm not saying you don't. I'm just saying everybody needs to understand how the model works. So if we're going to look at that, what she's saying is she thinks that there was some stuff coming from behind. And we do get cosmic rays and stuff like that from behind. But what you're seeing, and you see this over on ISWA too, it's the same exact thing. I used to think the same thing, Mary, but my opinion on that's changed a little bit. And let me show you why. And it's okay if you don't agree with me. I'm not mad at anybody on that, by the way. But I will address that real quick, because I think I did a lot of digging into this just to see, you know, if my mind or my knowledge was going in the right direction as far as what I think this model is trying to show us. Okay. I can go over to ISWA. I got ISWA pulled up. Maybe I'll pull the model up here in a second, because I guarantee you, and I've seen it 1,000 times, but I'll show it to you here. What you're seeing here, guys, look, that's trying to represent our bow shock out here. Okay. Let me grab this slide bar, see what we get. Okay. Let's see if we can see it. I seen it there, but let me and I'll see if I can see it better here on the density. You kind of can, yeah. Okay, and okay, so I'm going to show them to you both, okay? But I'm going to explain to you guys how this works, all right? What this is doing, this model, it's a model, okay? So is the one over on ISWA. They're models. The data gets put in there. So then the model gives you a visual. So they use pretty much the same information. They use the same data. Both models do. It's just this model's set up visually different. But if you look at this, you see that says 600. That's the velocity, right? But it says negative. So listen to what I'm saying here. Over here on the right, it says 600, but it doesn't say negative. Why do they do that? Okay, that's the first question most people are going to ask. Why does it go 0 and moves out to 600 both directions? Because we're talking about polarities. Everything here is magnetic, right? And so what we're talking about here is direction. So when you see the red, the dark reds, you're typically going to see those moving from left to right on this model. And then you will typically see the darker blues move from right to left, and it appears like we're getting hit from behind. But if you dig into this model and you understand how it works, you might change your mind on that. What's going on, in my opinion, and I'm not the only one that shares this opinion, and it's okay if people don't agree. And I'm not going to be mad at anybody, but we get hit in the front, right? We get this red coming, and this probably isn't the best one to show you because it's not completely evident right here. But you can see what I'm talking about. So, but if I run this slow, see, we took a hit right there. Boom. Now watch what happens. Did you see that? I know it's subtle right here. That means that those particles are moving from right to left. Okay? They're seeming like they're coming from behind. But what you didn't see right there was something further back. It didn't start here. Okay? What you're seeing is it's a reconnection. So if I back this up, we get hit in the front. Okay? And I've shown this before on a lot better visual. Same model. It was just more evident. So we get hit in the front. It breaks and disrupts some of the magnetic lines, connection lines, and then it reconnects on the backside. See that? None of this blue was way back here. None of it. So it didn't come from back here. It started here. So that's just how I look at it. And that's what I'm trying to address, do WTF. I'm not saying that we don't get stuff from behind, but that right there is not. And the ISWA model would show you the same. Well, it would show it to you in a different way, but it shows you the same thing. You can almost every time you see those blues pop in and it appears like stuff is coming from the back, every time almost you're going to see it hit us in the front first. So it just disrupts our magnetic lines, which it should, and then it reconnects. It just disconnects for a few and then it reconnects. So that's how the models are set up. I do know that. Whether you think that that's actually what's going on, it's okay if you don't. It's okay to disagree, guys. I'm not mad at anybody, but that's what I think is going on. That's my opinion. So we can also look at the density here. We'll kind of show it also. Again, low density is 0, the lighter colors. This isn't really the best way to show you because it doesn't show different directions other than what you see with your eyes. It's not a colored thing. You can actually see it right there. See that? Okay, so the question here, guys, and this is what really got me to go this direction with it. If you look right here, this is higher dense material, right? Or particles. You see what's happening there? It's moving from right to left. I'm not saying that it's not. It's just a reconnection because there is nothing starting from back here. If you can show me something starting from back here, which you won't be able to because it doesn't happen. I looked at these things for years, and it's just not starting from anywhere but right there. And that's what we're seeing. Okay, you can see it happen all the time right there. See it? Those are reconnections. the majority of the time. Now, again, I'm not saying that we don't get some stuff from behind. I'm not saying that at all, because I absolutely do. So that's what I'm trying to say. We get cosmic rays from everywhere. They come from everywhere. Just like we have a magnetosphere, the sun has a heliosphere. It's protecting our whole solar system with the same magnetic protection we're giving, the Earth is giving us. It's just a little bit more stronger and widespread from the sun. So, yeah. So when the sun's in solar minimum, that's a lot of the reason why during solar minimum, when the sun is looking like it's sick, like this, that's a lot of the reasons why we get more cosmic rays in. Because the sun isn't producing as much geomagnetic activity. Okay, it's just not shooting a bunch of stuff off. So our heliosphere isn't as strong. So more things get in. It allows more things into the solar system, and then because our magnetic field isn't as strong because of that and other reasons, when it gets here, it gets in easier. So what's that say? About messed you up. Where you at? Oh, Daniel, come on now. All right, I'm gonna leave that alone. I just seen that. I seen sorry, Mark, just messed you up. Okay. Anyway, so let's just move on from that. I don't usually address that anymore. I've addressed that so many times. And what happens is you either believe one way or you believe the other, and it's okay. Both, I believe that we can have different opinions is what I'm trying to say. It's not going to stop me from not liking somebody or listening to what they say, because I absolutely do. I take everything everybody says to me very seriously. I don't think anybody's stupid. I don't think any of that. So just know that. Doesn't mean I'm always going to agree, but just understand I don't think anybody's stupid. So, okay. More things getting in? Yeah, Piperland. Okay, so we have a filament down here that's erupting too, and I'll just go ahead and show that to you. This happened there. Well, I think we're going to have to look at it here on this one. It happened. I couldn't go back far enough on 300 frames to show it to you. So check this big sucker out right here. This big draping all the way across the whole southern front side of the sun. That sucker erupted off, man. Check it out. Right there. Look at that thing. That's a big one, guys. That's a lot of plasma just getting shot out. So that's what I would say. Look at that thing, man. I mean, that thing is definitely erupting. But here's the thing. It did produce a quote-unquote canyon of fire. You can see it rip open right there, but it quickly fills right back in. It's not a canyon of fire. It's just what we call it because it's what it looks like. Okay? But you can see that erupting off. Now, Soho imaging is not showing any kind of huge hit from that. Okay? So we'll take a look at it here. And we can see it erupt. Well, it erupted on the 18th, didn't it? Sorry, guys, my mouth's dry there. Okay, so there's that eruption right here. And we do miss some time here. We can see more of it over on ISWA if we were to pull it up, because I went and checked. The data's there. It's just Seeds don't have it here right now. It'll probably be fixed by tomorrow over here on this website. But I can show you the whole eruption. It's there. It's just not right here. So, but that is that filament eruption. So judging by that, I don't think it's coming at us. Most of it's going to go south, unless there is a component of it that might be halfway directed at us. Okay? So, yeah. I don't think we're going to get hit with any of that. I really don't. And the reason why, I mean, you can clearly see that the way that this filament erupted, it looks like it's just going to bust off to the south. I mean, you can see how it really is kind of that direction. And unfortunately, stereo A is no longer, I'll show you. It's no longer over here. It used to be about 90 degrees from the sun, from our perspective. And actually, it was even further back. We had a partial backside view of it, of the sun. And because we had this side view of the inner solar system, we could use SOHO, which is from our point of view, this satellite, and stereo A from over here. And we would be able to get a really clear direction of these CMEs. But that's no longer the case. Stereo A is now hanging out about right here where my cursor is. Okay, it's essentially from our point of view. So, yeah. Now, what else was I wanting to show you? Because there is some stuff I do want to show you guys some things that are coming. Okay, because we are under a geomagnetic storm watch or warning, however you want to put it. We are talking about getting some more, getting hit by another CME. Okay. Dr. Tony Phillips actually talking about it over here too at spaceweather.com. Please go over here and give them some love. Shoot some traffic their way. They do awesome. It's from that longer duration flare right here. Okay. So they expect this one to hit tomorrow on the 20th, about midday. And they're forecasting a G1, so it's nothing huge. Okay. So we'll just watch it. Notice how everything kind of calmed down. You remember when last week when we had all the G5 stuff going on and all that? Remember I said check out the X-ray base level? What's that doing now? See how low that is now? So our base overall X-ray or our ambient conditions, whatever you want to call it, is hanging about mid C-class flare range. Last week, if you guys remember, it was in the low M class range. We stayed at an R1 radio blackout for days. Okay? So we didn't even have to get any additional flaring. Just all the sunspots that were facing us were producing enough X-ray that we were at M class range at all times. So that's what's happening. So yeah. So you get, here's a bunch of the X-rays right here. You can kind of see the X-rays here on this from the sunspots themselves. You know, this is a really good one to show you. This is 171. It does show it pretty bright and pretty vivid. One thing I will say, I'll go down here and show it to you on the 94 because they do light up really well here. So you can kind of see things happening there. And here's one of those right there. That's one of those impulsive flares. Okay? So what we're going to be watching out for, guys, is those filaments. We got a bunch of filaments erupting, okay? We get not just in that one spot. I don't know. Sometimes we see this. I think the sun got destabilized from probably a flare or something like that, or even this filament that erupted here, okay? But the rest of the sun, after that happened, I'm going to show you the images after, you're going to see filaments pulling off everywhere. Okay, down here, up here, over here. I mean, the things are just, they're starting to pull off, right? Because if you look right here, that is an eruption. That's not necessarily a filament, but it does fling out kind of like a filament. Now, it doesn't look like there was a flare there either. So whatever happened there was no flare that caused that, at least from what I can see. And also, if you look right here, you'll see a canyon of fire open up right when that erupts. See that? So I think this is part of this filament. And because that opened up, that erupted. And it's a chain reaction, guys. It's like dominoes. It really is sometimes. We are seeing some solar rain over here. And all that is magnetic connection lines, high charged particles traveling on them. When you see these things looking like they're hurricanes or tornadoes, we call them solar tornadoes or a solar vortex. It's not wind. It's not high pressure and low pressure moving, causing wind to blow back your toupee, right? It's not that. These are charged particles traveling on a magnetic connection line. And it just so happens those magnetic connection lines sometimes take the shape and move in the shape of a spiral, okay? Or a vortex. That's why we see that. So that's what, that's what I'm saying. And by the way, guys, thank you guys for whoever's been with the memberships and everything. I do appreciate it. AA Ron, Genius. Everybody's been gifting memberships. It really does help. So I do appreciate that. Hey, Russ, good to see you. But yeah, so thank you for that, guys. All the membership stuff you guys been doing for me and just being here. It really is, it's awesome. So sharing it out, liking, please come back and leave a comment. I'm not ending the video. I'm not even close yet, but, I just want to make sure that you guys, I forgot to say that earlier. Kind of got off talking about the, stuff that appears to come from behind. But anyway, dude, WTF. So let's do this. Give me a roll call in there as I go to my next image here, if you would. I really would like to see where you guys are from. This region. I don't want to know your exact location. I don't need to know that. So please don't put that in there. That's not safe to do, just so you know. We are going to talk about this Aurora. Okay. Now, this Aurora was reported in Namibia. Okay. I didn't know this. This is something I learned from Dr. Tony Phillips' article here. It says, for the first time in 30 years, spaceweather.com has received photos of Aurora in Africa. They appeared during the storm we had back on May 10th. This is Sophie Poland's photograph. Okay. This is from the All Sky Cam network. Okay. Which is grossly misused, by the way. She's not misusing it, but these are fisheye lenses, and they show some crazy stuff sometimes that are just simply an artifact of a fisheye lens. I'll just leave it at that. But these red Aurora, man, they showed up everywhere, guys. It's amazing. Namibia is down here at latitude 22.5. That is very low latitude. Okay. I believe the one in New Caledonia was about the same place. Let's go back and look. When did he report on that? Was it on the 17th? Yep, right here. How far down? What was its latitude? Let's see. That was at negative 26.4 latitude. Then you had, so yeah, roughly about the same place when you're talking about latitude, guys. That's a very significantly low, close to the equator type of thing. So for us to be getting reports like that still, it's just amazing. It really truly is. And thanks to everybody that sent me photographs. If you guys still have photographs, please send them to me. Okay. But the next thing I want to talk about, guys, is, this comet. This is Comet Pons-Brooks 12P. We've been talking about this comet for a long time. This is the one that was in the sky during the solar eclipse. Okay. I showed you guys back way before this event happened. And I'm going to show it to you right now. This is that comet. This is back on April 13th. The sun was already ripping its tail off back then. Okay? So, watch. You can clearly see, I'm going to speed it up. You see that? Right there? The sun's interacting with that. That's not just solar wind. That's probably some CME action. Comet Inky, we were able to catch it when it came through. and the sun interacted with it and blew its tail off. Okay. So yeah, I think Pons Brooks has been affected multiple times, and I would suggest that Inky did too when it was here. Okay, but they only caught it the one time, or at least that's what we've seen. You know, and it's just a way to show that, hey, solar wind, when these things don't have magnetic protection, what produces those tails, right? The solar wind is actually producing that tail. Because you will see it's going to be a complete 180 degree pointed the other direction than what the sun is. Okay? So if I stop this and I go back, we'll change the date. Okay? We're going to go back. We'll go back to, I don't know. Let's just go back to the 6th of April. And then I don't think it'll let me go all the way to the 15th here, but we'll try. It may be too many. It probably is. Hey, there it goes. Okay. Well, it started me way up here because that's all it's going to let me see. So let me, I'll change that ending day here. Let's just go to, I don't know. Let's go 9. Okay. Yeah, here we go. So here it is right there coming in. You can see it. It's definitely got interacted with up here, but you can see the tail. And as it gets down close to the ecliptic, which is nothing more than an imaginary line from the equator of the sun that is stretched out. It just keeps going, right? So that's what you're seeing. So when this gets close to the equator, that tail is almost going to go completely horizontal here. And then when it gets below the equator, the tail is going to be facing the other way. Okay? So whatever direction it's getting hit from the sun, it's going to blow that tail that direction. Now, I'm using that word blow very loosely there, okay? Because we know that these things are moving, but it's not like wind, okay? I know we call it solar wind, but it's a different thing, guys. Yeah. I guess you could think of it kind of like sticking your hand in a particle collider. That's kind of what's going on. It's high speed, I can tell you that. Some of this stuff's moving at over 2 million miles per hour. So if you got a comet moving towards the sun at all, and then you got solar wind or CME action coming at you at 2 million miles per hour, what's going to happen, right? Now this comet here is a cryovolcanic comet, which means that it's cold and it's leaking gas basically. We've seen the tail here on Pons Brooks do a lot of crazy things. And it's because of the spiral and the cracking on its surface interacting with the solar wind. Okay? So if you didn't know how comets work, that's how comets work. That's why you see a tail. If the solar wind wasn't there, you wouldn't see a tail at all. That's what causes that. Okay? So typically as it gets closer to the sun, they start interacting with one another. You'll have outbursts from this thing. It'll get brighter, dimmer, tails get ripped off, tails get flapped in the solar wind, all kinds of stuff, right? So let me, actually I'm going to just X out that one. I don't like that stupid thing. Okay, so this is the same comet, but you can clearly see whatever CME this comet got hit with this time, it blew the tail completely off of it. Now, it's going to be quickly regenerated because the solar wind ain't going to quit, right? So that's what you're seeing there, okay? Hey, Seven, good to see you, bud. Okay. So, yeah. I think, guys, that's all I had in my thumbnail. I don't think I have a whole lot more to share with you. But I do think that we need to pay attention to the coronal holes that's coming. We're going to be connecting to that thing very shortly. Okay? Within the next we might be connected to it now, just to be honest about that. That definitely could be what's going on there. Okay? Now, remember, guys, tomorrow I will be giving away some cards. So if you want a chance at winning those cards, one of my mods, if you could, maybe put that link in there. We do need a dictionary of space words using terrestrial words. Just isn't cutting it. Yeah, you're right. I try not to use that word salad, but there's certain stuff out there that you just have to use the verbiage. You can't change. I mean, that's the only thing you can use to actually explain what's going on. I try to change it around. You guys probably see me struggle with that from time to time, but I do try to. And believe it or not, well, Tam the Scope does the same thing. She'll use those words, but then she'll explain it to you in a way that at least you can kind of understand what's going on. If she serves you a big old bowl of word salad, she's going to go through each individual ingredient in that bowl and explain to you what that is. Okay? And that's exactly what I try to do. And you will. I know I keep going back to this, but I have so much respect for somebody that has such a high knowledge base, but still uses stuff like a slinky to explain space weather. Okay? Some examples of space weather in our magnetosphere and our magnetic field. Hey, good to see you from Omaha. Heck yeah. So, yeah. That's what I'll say there. Okay? I know that it's hard to understand those words. But I have a lot of respect for people that try not to just come out here and talk and just so they can hear themselves be smart, right? It's just that irritates me. So, all right. You're right, dude. You really, yeah, I agree, dude. I mean, you really do. You have to bring it down to a level. Well, take this in consideration next time you think about this. Everybody, when you guys, well, you probably don't read a newspaper anymore unless you're reading it on your tablet. You're right, Steven. Yeah, I learned so much. Hey, Angel Wings, good to see you. Thank you for the gift of memberships earlier this week. I really appreciate that. It means a lot. It really does. But yeah, the newspaper, guys, is written. It's supposed to be written at a 6th grade reading level. Hey, Stephanie. So why do they do that? They don't think people are stupid. Well, they might, but I don't think that was the original reason. Okay. It's not so, you don't have to just concentrate on things so hard when you're reading a newspaper to understand it. They wanted it written in a way that it was still going to explain everything the right way, but it wasn't hard to read. And that's exactly what I try to do. And I see Dr. Tim at the Scope doing the same things. I see other people doing the same things too. And on the other end of that, I see other people that have no clue what those words mean. And they start using these big words that don't even match. And it's so crazy. It's crazy. They're trying to sound smart for what reason, I don't know. Maybe they got an ego issue. Maybe something is a little, short in their life, if you know what I'm saying. I don't know. Don't get me going down that road, please. Somebody reel me back in here. Getting ready to go down, not the PG road. I gotta quit talking about that. Anyway. So, but yeah. So please, guys, please. Hey, Kevin. Hey, you remember that TV show, right? That game show? Smarter Than a 5th Grader? Wasn't that Jeff Foxworthy? Hey, Stephanie, good to see you. Oh, I just said hi to you. That's probably why you're saying it back. You're right, dude. I actually, when I say dude, I'm not referring to everybody here. Dude, WTF, if somebody's leaving comments. Yeah, they use it to mislead people sometimes. 100%. Yeah, Michael, again, there's a lot of theories and a lot of beliefs and And I think that everybody should be able to believe how they want to believe, and they should be able to look at what they want to look at, and I think they should be able to voice it as long as it's respectful. Like what you just said right there, I might not agree with. I don't know if I do or not. I'm not taking a position on that. But what I'm saying here is that I'm not going to judge anybody. I'm going to listen to you, right? And it's okay if we end up on the other side. It's okay if I don't 100% agree with you and you don't agree with me. You just said that in a very respectful way. That's exactly how we should do it, guys. The SpaceX satellites creates a hologram. We are being lied to about the cosmos. There was nothing disrespectful about that. He was making a statement. So, in not going into the context of what he said, I pointed that out so everybody understands it's okay to say those things. If that's what you believe, that's what you believe. You know, I'm not here to change people's mind. I'm nowcasting. That's what I do here on my channel. I tell you what's going on currently with the conditions. I show you what I think is what the models are trying to show you, right? And at the same time, I'm trying to give an understanding by using the knowledge that I think that I've gained through the years, and using the tools that we have, like the internet. Yeah, I mean, and again, guys, I mean, there's a lot of, yeah, Michael, I mean, there's a lot of people out there that have really researched into that. I haven't, so I really don't even have a position. So that's what I'm saying. And yeah, we keep it real. That's right, Dr. J, man. Hope you're doing well, by the way, bud. All right, guys, I am going to go ahead and kick off. I got family in the other room. We're trying to do the Sunday family thing, okay? If anything happens, you guys know I'm going to be right back up in here. Again, guys, thank you so much for all the support you've been giving the channel and giving me and my family. And my wife wanted me to give you guys a special thanks anyway. So thank you, guys. Yeah. Yeah, I read that, Andrea. I got you. Yeah, and I think that, let me just say this one more thing before I get off here. I'm not sure if I got too many people left in here right now because I was winding down there. Again, it's okay to not agree. It really truly is. I have never judged people on that. But what I will say, when I give like even when I do it respectful here, and I say things that's just my opinion, I always preface that by saying it's my opinion. I don't do that very often because it seems like every time that I do, and it doesn't agree with certain points of view that others have, it ruins the experience the chat has here, okay? Because what happens is, ultimately, what I'm talking about is there's going to be a split in my chat. And people are going to start arguing. Now, let me say this. What happens here on my channel is so much better than what I see on others. And let me explain. Even when you guys disagree, I'm giving you guys kudos here, by the way. Even when you guys disagree, for the most part, you guys are doing it in a respectful way. And when we disagree with somebody, we don't want to ram what we think is truth down their throat. They're going to rebel from that and not want to hear a word you're saying. I know I do. I completely shut down when somebody's like just being just an idiot to me, right? In the way of being just nasty, right? So I have a very open mind, and I pride myself on being grounded on a lot of different things. If I'm going to change my mind, I've learned to need some sort of proof for me to change my mind. Before, it could just be somebody talking about it. Well, that makes sense. I'll just believe this, right? No, that's not how I work anymore. And it's okay. I mean, if we take this that that nonchalant kind of attitude, that's okay too. We ain't got to take everything so serious. But if it's a big subject that I've talked about or seen, if I think I'm really starting to change my mind on things, I need to have some very solid things to get my brain back there. And that's just me. And I don't push that onto you guys. I want you guys to have the information, and you guys make up your own minds. That's the goal here. And just like I did earlier, showing you guys how and why and what that model is actually showing you. Now, again, like I said, where that came from, there's an argument there, I'm sure, that somebody could have, right? And when I say argument, it's more of a discussion is what I'm talking about. So, yeah. But at the same time, you have to start with understanding that this right here, you have to understand what this model is trying to show you and how this model works. So, and that goes for every model. That's why I take you guys to ISWA a lot over here. This is ISWA, and I know you said ISWA earlier, but ISWA is nothing more than just hub. That's what this page is called. Okay? You can get to all these things. And what was talked about earlier was these particular ones here. He's lined it. These right here. Okay? This is what we used to have. I'll just click on one. I'm not going to run any movies here. But these are like lines. These are showing magnetic field lines and everything like that. This here is still there, and it still is, in my opinion. You know, you can't ignore this model. That's not what I'm saying. Do I think that the model's wrong? No, I didn't say that. What I'm saying is I think people, when we switched over to this one, it does give us a better visual here of what's actually going on. Because when you look at this one, you're forced to, let me see this, where'd it go? When you look at this one, you're forced to look at things as if there are only like 10 magnetic lines out here. That's not the truth. That's not what's going on there. Okay? So it's more of a, I guess, a curtain or a blanket, and yes, there are lines, magnetic connection lines, but they're closer together is what I'm saying than what was being represented here. So it does kind of confuse that. So you got to understand how both models work in order to see which one you want to use. Now, people that use this model, I'm not saying it's the wrong thing to do at all. I think this model is just as valid as it's ever been. This is all we used to have. This model here has not been there but for 4 or 5 years. So for somebody just to automatically just up and throw this one out in the trash like it's nothing, I think is a mistake. Okay? So International Science and Weather Administration, it might be. I can't remember exactly what that exact acronym is right there. So it might be. But yes, that's what that is. So you can come here and you can look at all and look at this, guys. Okay? Let me show you this. Here is a very, very new model. Did they take it off of there? There it is. I wonder why they moved it back one. It was over here on tab 6. Huh. It's called the Zeus model, and it's a CME simulator. Okay? I've shown it to you guys a few times. You can see where it says trigger right here? You can change it from CME to flare. So you're able to see certain things, different things. You see that? That was on the 18th about midday. So if I change the trigger from CME to flare, it's updating. See that wheel moving? It should stop once it updates there. Hopefully. There it goes. See the change? That's a different eruption. My guess is that right there it could be that filament eruption. That's what it looks like. Right there's Earth. So, yeah. And this gives you other data also. It gives you the compression ratio, which is very significant. That's how, when it gets compressed, our magnetic field, that's kind of giving you a strength data point. You got shock speed. How fast is the shock wave moving? That kind of thing. How much maximum energy does this model think that this thing has? Right? Then you can come over here and get the B readings. Okay? So, yeah. This is just another model. Right? They're all just models. That's what I'm trying to say. You just got to understand how they look. Okay, I'm starting to bore people. I guarantee it. I'm going to go ahead and get off here, guys. So, please share this out. Drop me a comment. Come back. Go back and leave me a comment underneath the one that you'll see it. It has a, what was that video called? Hold on a second. I'll tell you what it was called. I should have ended this stream a long time ago. I'm sorry, guys. I'm kind of rambling on here for no stinking reason. Hold on. I want to get you guys that. What I'll do. Let's see here. Hold on. Okay. I think I got it right here. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on, people. Let's copy that link. Let's go on back up here to this live stream. Okay. Now, look, right here. Okay. So, I am now pasting the link to the video. If you guys go to that video and leave a comment, I'm going to be picking random number generator tomorrow from that comment section. If you left that numbered comment, you'll get a deck of cards. And they're very cool. They're space related. They're bicycle cards. High quality. I got some called Sunspot, believe it or not. And they were discontinued in 2018. My wife found a whole brick of them. So she's awesome. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end this, guys. So, guys, God bless. Yahusha saves. And, yeah, look for me tomorrow. I'll be back again. You can drink this Kool-Aid.